Hybrid selection of sorghum is one of those irreversible decisions that you can't go back and change once you put the seed in the ground. In South Texas, we're looking for robust hybrids that have tropical adaptation and are able to produce grain sorghum under a variety of conditions. The panicles, the size will depend a lot upon the row spacing that you use, but the limiting factor that we have in South Texas is water. And we have what we call workhorse sorghums that will produce under a variety of soil types and conditions, but most sorghums are going to need the majority of their water from the time that they're approaching the boot stage to the time that they complete bloom. At those times, they're using as much as 2 inches of water per week, and it's one of those situations where we really can't add additional water, but this is a workhorse. This is a type of plant that's going to produce some grain year in and year out. So as we stand here on the mini annex, we have some 25 sorghum hybrids that we're looking at this time, and we also are looking at their susceptibility to iron chlorosis. There are some, as we've discussed before, that are very green, that are very able to get by with no spraying of ferrous sulfate or maybe just one application. And so as we identify those, we're able to add additional grain to the harvest that we have. And probably 1/3 of the soils in South Texas and Texas, along the Texas Gulf Coast, are affected by chlorosis. So it is one of those problems that is undermining our production and is part of our Sorghum Profit Initiative. Also behind me we have some of the Tangloom sorghums, and these are very interesting to look at as we think about approaches to feeding grain sorghum throughout the poultry feeding ration cycle. And the Tangloom is fairly new now. There's not a lot of hybrids that have the Tangloom, but we also have been working with what we call stay green hybrids. The stay greens are able to remain leaf color and to sustain photosynthesis so that we can fill out the sorghum grain as we get closer to harvest. Every year that we have drought in South Texas, there's a possibility that we could have charcoal rot develop in our sorghum as it begins to dry down and mature. The plant on the left here has the first symptoms of drought. The leaf margins are scorched, the tissue is dying back. The plant is trying to produce grain in the head. The plant is going to eventually mine the nutrients to use the remaining water that's left in the soil. It's going to take the nutrients and matter out of the roots and the stalk, and it's going to move them into the grain in the head. Now, the stay green hybrids that we are trying to grow in South Texas are those that have been developed through the Texas Agricultural Experimentation Breeding Program and by commercial companies, and the objective is to keep that leaf green. There are at least 4 genes that may be associated with stay green, and by keeping the flag leaf and a couple of the upper leaves of the sorghum plant green, then it does not rob the stalk and the roots, and therefore the plant is able to remain erect and mature the grain that it has produced. So the stay green hybrids are currently available, but there are none of these that are going to perform well when we have a tremendous, overwhelming drought. Now, in 2002, we've only had less than 2 inches since the 1st of January, and stay green hybrids may be very important in this season in producing a crop.